Loss of appetite can be frustrating, frightening, and confusing, whether it's due to stress, illness, age, medications, or emotional reasons. When you don't feel like eating, even small meals can seem overwhelming. Over time, poor intake can lead to unwanted weight loss, nutrient deficiencies, and weakened immunity, making it even harder to recover your strength. Therefore, understanding why appetite drops and finding simple, manageable ways to support your body through food is crucial. First, it's important to recognize that appetite loss isn't just about not feeling hungry. It often comes with additional challenges, like feeling full quickly, nausea, changes in taste or smell, tiredness, or even depression. All of these can make eating feel more like a burden than a pleasure. But instead of trying to force down large meals, a better approach is to gently work with your body, using smart food choices and small strategies to nourish yourself without overwhelming your system. The first step is to focus on nutrient density. When your appetite is low, you need every bite to matter. That means choosing foods rich in calories, proteins, healthy fats, and important vitamins and minerals, without necessarily increasing portion size. Think of it like packing more fuel into a smaller package. You're not trying to eat more food, you're trying to make each mouthful count. Choosing calorie-rich foods is important, but they should ideally offer more than just empty energy. Peanut butter, avocado, olive oil, cheese, eggs, yogurt, nuts, and seeds are all excellent options. For instance, a tablespoon of peanut butter on a cracker or a few slices of avocado on toast can add hundreds of nourishing calories without needing a big meal. Similarly, protein is absolutely critical. Muscle wasting and weakness are common problems when eating less, so keeping protein intake steady helps maintain strength and function. Choose softer proteins that are easier to chew and digest, such as scrambled eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, well-cooked chicken, fish, tofu, or protein shakes. If you find whole meals too heavy, sipping on a protein smoothie can often be an easier way to get your intake up without stressing your digestion. In addition to protein, healthy fats are incredibly valuable because they are calorie-dense and provide long-lasting energy. Incorporate oils like olive oil, avocado oil, or flaxseed oil into your meals whenever possible. Drizzle them on vegetables, stir them into mashed potatoes, or blend them into smoothies. A single spoonful of healthy fat can add vital calories and nutrients with almost no change to taste or volume, making it a simple but powerful addition. Another essential aspect is eating frequency. Traditional meal structures, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, might not work well when your appetite is poor. Instead, think small and often. Grazing throughout the day, having a bite here and there, is often more realistic and less stressful. Even just 5 or 6 small snack-sized portions spread across the day can add up to meet your needs without ever feeling overwhelming. It might be helpful to set gentle reminders to eat something small every 2 to 3 hours, even if it's just a few bites at a time. Sometimes, presentation and environment can also influence appetite. Eating alone, under stress, or in a sterile, clinical setting can depress the desire to eat even further. Creating a relaxed atmosphere, playing soft music, setting a pleasant table, eating outdoors when possible, or sharing meals with a supportive friend or family member can subtly encourage better intake. The goal is to make mealtime feel less like a chore and more like a comforting ritual, one that nourishes not just the body but also the mind and emotions. It's also worth considering temperature and texture when choosing foods. Many people find that warm, soft foods are easier to eat when their appetite is low. A warm bowl of oatmeal, a cup of creamy soup, mashed potatoes, soft pasta dishes with sauce, or tender stews can often go down more easily than dry, crunchy, or tough foods. Conversely, in hot weather, cold, refreshing foods like yogurt, chilled smoothies, fresh fruits, or cold salads might be more appealing. Paying attention to what feels comfortable and pleasant to eat can make a significant difference. Lastly, hydration is important but must be approached carefully. While staying hydrated is vital for overall health, drinking large amounts of water before or during meals can fill up your stomach and further blunt your appetite. It's better to sip small amounts of fluid between meals rather than drinking large glasses with your food. You can also boost hydration naturally by choosing moist foods like fruits, for example, melons, oranges, or berries, or foods cooked with plenty of broths and sauces. Herbal teas, diluted fruit juices, or electrolyte-rich drinks can also help maintain hydration without overwhelming your stomach. In summary, when your appetite is reduced, forcing large meals or strict eating schedules is unlikely to help and might even cause additional stress. Instead, working with your body by choosing nutrient-dense foods, eating small amounts more frequently, adjusting food textures and temperatures, and creating a pleasant and supportive eating environment lays the foundation for maintaining strength and health during challenging times. It's about listening to your needs, being gentle with yourself, and making small but consistent changes that support recovery over time. Even tiny improvements each day can accumulate and make a powerful difference in how you feel physically and emotionally. When struggling with a reduced appetite, one of the most effective strategies is to rely on foods that are not just high in calories but also easy to consume and digest. Sometimes, the mere thought of a heavy meal can trigger nausea or discomfort, so the goal is to focus on lighter options that still deliver a serious nutritional punch. Smoothies are one of the best allies in this situation. They are easy to sip, can be customized endlessly, and allow you to pack a surprising amount of nutrition into a small, manageable serving. A basic smoothie might include a high-calorie base such as whole milk, Greek yogurt, or a plant-based milk like almond or coconut milk, blended with fruits like bananas, berries, or mango, and a tablespoon of nut butter or flax seeds for an extra energy boost. You can also add protein powders, oats, honey, or avocado for added density. The beauty of smoothies is that they are refreshing, often easier to consume than solids, and can be adapted to suit both sweet and savory preferences. Beyond smoothies, small but powerful snacks are crucial. Instead of traditional meals, think about building your intake through easy-to-grab, bite-sized items that require minimal effort. Energy bars, trail mix with nuts and dried fruits, small containers of cottage cheese, hard-boiled eggs, and slices of cheese with crackers are all simple but effective. Even a spoonful of peanut butter straight from the jar or a handful of walnuts can provide meaningful calories and fats without feeling like a heavy commitment. Another often overlooked idea is enriching the food you are already willing to eat. If you can manage to eat a small bowl of soup or a serving of mashed potatoes, consider enriching these foods with additions that won't dramatically change the volume but will significantly increase the nutrition. For example, stir a spoonful of heavy cream, olive oil, butter, or powdered milk into soups and mashed dishes. Sprinkle cheese onto casseroles or mix extra egg yolks into scrambled eggs. You can also add avocado slices to sandwiches or blend them into pasta sauces. These small upgrades add calories and nutrients without forcing you to eat significantly more. Soups, in general, deserve special mention. They are comforting, often easier to tolerate than solid meals, and can be a fantastic vehicle for nutrition if prepared thoughtfully. Choose hearty soups made with lentils, beans, chicken, beef, or fish, and enrich them with vegetables and grains. Adding a swirl of cream or a handful of cheese on top can further boost their caloric content. Cream-based soups, such as cream of mushroom, potato leek, or creamy tomato bisque, can feel soothing and nourishing at the same time. On days when eating feels particularly difficult, sipping on broth throughout the day ensures you are at least getting fluids, electrolytes, and some minerals, preventing total depletion. It's also important to embrace flexibility. When your appetite is fragile, traditional food rules like breakfast foods only in the morning or dinner must be a full meal can be tossed aside. If you find yourself hungry for toast at 10 p.m. or craving yogurt at lunchtime, follow those instincts. Anytime you feel a hint of hunger or interest in food is a window of opportunity that should be gently encouraged rather than dismissed. Some people notice that certain comfort foods from their childhood or cultural background are easier to eat when nothing else seems appealing. Leaning into these foods, even if they seem simple or repetitive, can be a smart way to keep intake up. Whether it's a simple buttered noodle dish, rice porridge, scrambled eggs with toast, or a familiar type of sandwich, comfort and familiarity can sometimes rekindle the desire to eat. Taste changes can also play a huge role in reduced appetite. Food might taste bland, metallic, too salty, or too sweet. Experimenting with small adjustments can help. Adding herbs, lemon juice, mild spices, or seasoning blends can revive bland food without making it overpowering. On the other hand, if strong flavors are unpleasant, choosing very simple, mild foods might be better. Keeping a variety of textures and temperatures available gives you options depending on what feels tolerable at the moment. For some people, cold foods like pudding, custards, ice cream, yogurt, or chilled pasta salads are easier to handle than hot dishes. For others, warm comfort foods are more soothing. Having both available lets you match your intake to your current sensations. Supplements might sometimes have a place, but whole foods should still be the primary goal whenever possible. If necessary, high-calorie liquid supplements like Ensure, Boost, or homemade nutrient drinks can provide backup nutrition, but they shouldn't replace real food entirely unless advised by a doctor or dietitian. It's also worth tracking progress loosely, not to create pressure or stress, but to make sure you're noticing small victories. If you manage an extra snack today compared to yesterday, that's progress. If you finish a whole smoothie when you only managed half last week, that's meaningful improvement. Keeping a simple journal of what you managed to eat each day can offer encouragement, showing that even tiny steps forward add up over time. In the face of a reduced appetite, patience, creativity, and gentleness are your greatest allies. Your relationship with food may need to shift temporarily, moving away from rigid expectations and toward a more forgiving and flexible approach that honors what your body is capable of at any given moment. When dealing with a reduced appetite, the psychological side of eating becomes just as important as the physical side. Many people with appetite loss find themselves trapped in a cycle of guilt and frustration, feeling bad about not eating enough, worrying about their health, and then feeling even less able to eat because of the emotional pressure. Breaking this cycle is essential. It begins with adjusting your mindset toward food. Instead of seeing meals as a duty or a test you might fail, try to reframe eating as an act of care for yourself, a way to gently support your healing and energy. Some days will be better than others, and that is perfectly okay. Success isn't about eating a full plate 3 times a day. It's about doing what you can, when you can, without judgment. Setting small, achievable goals helps immensely. For example, instead of aiming to finish a large lunch, you might set a goal to have 3 small bites of protein and a few sips of a smoothie. If that feels doable, you can celebrate it as a victory. Gradually, with time, these small successes build confidence and physical strength, making it easier to expand intake naturally rather than through force. Visualization techniques can also help. Before eating, you might spend a moment visualizing the energy and strength the food will bring to your body. Imagining your cells soaking up nutrients, your muscles rebuilding, your skin healing. These positive images can reconnect you with the real reasons you are trying to nourish yourself, beyond just filling a plate. Another tool is mindfulness during meals. When eating, try to create a calm, undistracted environment where you can focus gently on the sensory aspects of food, the colors, textures, scents, and flavors. Even if you can only manage a few bites, being present during those bites can make the experience more satisfying. Avoid eating in front of stressful news, chaotic surroundings, or while multitasking on work, as these distractions can suppress appetite further. Instead, think of each small meal or snack as a mini opportunity for self-care. Routines can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, having a loose eating routine can help remind your body when to expect food and gently cue hunger hormones. On the other hand, being too rigid about timing and structure can cause unnecessary stress if you miss a scheduled meal. A good balance is setting soft, flexible rhythms, maybe aiming to have a bite of something every 2 to 3 hours, but without panic if sometimes it stretches longer. Listening to your body's cues is ultimately more important than adhering to a clock. Appetite often has a social component as well. People tend to eat more and more happily when sharing meals with others. If possible, finding a meal buddy, a friend, family member, caregiver, or even an online community can provide gentle encouragement and a sense of connection. Even short video calls where you eat together can recreate a sense of shared experience, making eating feel less like an isolated task and more like a human, communal ritual. Sometimes changing the eating location helps too. Eating in a different room, outside in fresh air, or even at a small cafe instead of at home can subtly refresh your attitude toward meals. Environment shapes behavior more than we often realize. Bright natural light, a pleasant table setting, a vase of flowers, or a favorite piece of music playing in the background can all lift mood and, indirectly, appetite. It's also worth mentioning that sensory stimulation outside of meals can support appetite recovery. Gentle exercise, like a short walk in the sunshine, mild stretching, or even just sitting outdoors, can sometimes stimulate hunger hormones and rekindle interest in food. Smelling delicious aromas, such as baking bread, simmering soup, or roasting chicken, can awaken appetite before the actual act of eating. Aromatherapy techniques, like diffusing citrus or peppermint scents, have also been reported by some people to subtly lift nausea and stimulate mild hunger. When all else fails and motivation runs low, having emergency go-to foods ready can make a huge difference. These are the foods you can tolerate most easily even on bad days. It could be something simple like plain crackers, fruit puree pouches, mild soups, or fortified drinks. Keeping these items stocked and easily accessible reduces the burden of decision-making when you're already exhausted. You don't want to stand in front of the fridge overwhelmed by options. You want something familiar and manageable right at your fingertips. Monitoring weight gently is acceptable but should be done with care. If weighing yourself daily becomes a source of stress or obsession, it is better to check progress weekly or let a healthcare provider handle it. Remember, temporary fluctuations are normal. What matters more than daily numbers is the general trend of stabilization and, ideally, slow rebuilding over time. Always celebrate non-scale victories too. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, or the ability to take a slightly longer walk than before. These signs of progress often appear before significant weight gain and are valuable indicators that your strategies are working. If serious appetite loss persists despite your best efforts, consulting a healthcare professional is important. There could be underlying medical causes like thyroid problems, digestive disorders, medication side effects, or psychological factors that require specific treatment. Nutritionists and dietitians can also offer tailored guidance, meal plans, and supplement suggestions suited to your particular situation. There is no shame in seeking help. Restoring appetite and strength is a journey that sometimes requires a team effort, and reaching out for support is an act of strength, not weakness. No matter how slow progress feels, every bite you manage, every small effort you make, is a step toward better health, greater vitality, and renewed connection to your body's needs. As the journey of dealing with reduced appetite continues, it is important to recognize that rebuilding strength and nutrition is a gradual, patient process that deserves respect and compassion. Food should become an ally again, not a source of anxiety or frustration. One helpful mindset is to think of food not only as fuel but also as medicine, as a direct contributor to healing, stability, and emotional well-being. Even if hunger feels absent, reminding yourself that every bite serves a real, vital purpose can help shift your attitude toward eating. It can be useful to create a list of easy wins, foods, and small meals that you personally find tolerable and even mildly enjoyable. This list becomes a resource on tough days, offering pre-chosen options that reduce decision fatigue. Examples might include small bowls of pasta with olive oil and Parmesan, slices of ripe mango, scrambled eggs with cheese, plain yogurt with honey, nut butter spread on crackers, or a handful of almonds. Having 10 to 15 go-to options ensures you always have something ready to turn to without overthinking. Another powerful technique is food pairing. Combining foods with different textures, flavors, and temperatures can make meals more interesting and easier to eat. For instance, pairing a warm creamy soup with a cool yogurt smoothie or a soft scrambled egg with a crunchy piece of toast offers variety that can awaken the senses. Monotonous meals are often harder to face, especially when appetite is already compromised, so small changes in taste, smell, and mouthfeel can make a big difference. Making meals visually appealing also helps. We naturally eat with our eyes first. A colorful plate, bright vegetables, vibrant fruits, appealing garnishes can stimulate interest even before the first bite. Using different plate sizes, colorful bowls, or attractive napkins can subtly turn eating into a more positive sensory experience. When you feel more drawn to the food in front of you, even small portions seem less daunting. It is also important to acknowledge emotional connections to eating. Stress, grief, anxiety, and depression often have a profound impact on appetite. In some cases, professional counseling or therapy may be valuable in addressing the emotional roadblocks that interfere with nourishing yourself. Mind-body techniques like meditation, breathing exercises, or gentle yoga can also relieve tension, improving the chances of naturally regaining a healthier relationship with food. If emotional distress is causing severe eating difficulties, treating the emotional root is as important as any nutrition strategy. Another tip involves focusing on specific eating windows rather than pressuring yourself to eat from morning until night. For example, you might notice that your appetite is slightly better in the late morning or early evening. Planning your most substantial intake around these natural windows allows you to work with your body's rhythms rather than against them. It's better to have 2 satisfying eating periods a day than to exhaust yourself trying to force down 5 meals with little success. Being strategic and respectful of your natural patterns helps create a more sustainable eating routine. Hydration continues to play a role, and not just through drinking water. Choosing hydrating foods, such as watermelon, cucumber, oranges, and soups, helps maintain fluid balance without needing to gulp down large glasses of liquid. Coconut water, diluted fruit juices, herbal teas, and electrolyte drinks can be refreshing and supportive, particularly if dehydration contributes to fatigue or nausea. Being slightly creative with beverages, like making homemade fruit-infused waters, can make hydration more pleasant and interesting. Supplementation can be an effective backup plan when eating remains very challenging. Nutritional shakes, high-calorie powders, and vitamin-rich drinks can bridge gaps temporarily. However, it's always better to prioritize real food whenever possible because it provides not only calories but also natural fiber, antioxidants, and a wide spectrum of micronutrients that supplements may lack. When using supplements, choosing high-quality products and consulting a healthcare provider ensures you are using them wisely and safely. Tracking improvements in subtle ways can provide valuable motivation. Instead of focusing only on weight, observe improvements in skin quality, hair strength, energy levels, digestion, sleep quality, and mood stability. These gradual shifts indicate that your body is responding positively even if physical changes take time to become visible externally. Small indicators like less dizziness when standing up, fewer mood swings, better concentration, and increased ability to perform daily activities are strong signs that your nutritional strategies are paying off. As you move forward, celebrating even minor milestones is vital. If you manage to try a new food, eat slightly more at a meal, or feel a flicker of genuine hunger, these are major victories. Self-kindness must be at the core of your approach. Some days will be harder than others, and there may be occasional steps backward, but the overall trajectory matters more than any single day's results. Surrounding yourself with supportive people, family, friends, caregivers who understand your challenges without pressuring you can make a profound difference. Expressing your needs openly, asking for help with grocery shopping, meal prep, or simply company during meals can ease the burden considerably. Connection and encouragement nourish not only the body but also the spirit. Remember that you are not alone. Appetite loss is a common struggle in many different life stages and health conditions. Millions of people face similar challenges, and solutions exist. Every effort you make to care for yourself, even on the hardest days, is a courageous step toward recovery. With time, persistence, and compassion, appetite can often be rekindled, health can be rebuilt, and eating can once again become a source of strength, pleasure, and vitality. Trust in the process, honor the small victories, and believe that better days are ahead because they are.